Hi, it's Ileana, and today we have Amir, Dr. Amir with us, and we are going to be doing some remote viewing of things that are in Alpha Centauri, I think potentially. Because I was recently out there in my energy body, and I saw just some beautiful things that I wanted to explore with Amir. I did about 75 images, so they're all organized. And Amir is just going to tap in and see what he gets. It's very free flowing, very open. So whatever he gets, it's beautiful because he's good at remote viewing. He does Akashic Records readings, he does energy healing. He is a dragon. So he is very powerful healer, very powerful Akashic reader, remote viewer with wonderful abilities. So I'm going to start sharing the screen so that we can all see the beautiful things I encountered in Alpha Centauri that Amir is going to remote view. Amir, are you seeing this?
Yes, yes. Okay.
So I had seen what appears as star drones, crafts, and very multiple interesting things in Alpha Centauri to do with ascension, human evolution, extraterrestrial evolution, and other things. So Amir, let's have a look. Let's tap in what the first image is.
Okay. Uh, so there's the very, very precise multidimensional engineering occurring. They are basically very carefully opening a engineered portal. This would potentially link 3 or 4 dimensions together. You can see in the rendered image the boundaries of reality in one dimension crossing over to the next. Uh, the purpose of this could very much so, as you said, be technological evolution or ascension. Now, yet this one is not the final product. They're testing the understanding of interdimensional bridges. This is now not between 2 points in space located in the same dimension. They're punching into higher dimensions. So it requires a very solid understanding of the physics, the laws of existence in both dimensions, source and destination. Now, that being achieved, they are trying a new efficient way of traversing between dimensions. This will have enormous potential for expanding the reach of their civilizations, giving them access to infinite resources. And so this is a jump in their stage of being as a civilization. They're still not able to harness the entire energy of a universe, but this very much so is taking them to that level. Incredible, wonderful thing to behold. So this will give the forms, the life forms, exposure to the conditions of dimensions that are potentially up to 4 dimensions above where they have naturally evolved. And so, through the combination of technology and also natural evolution, they will eventually be able to traverse between the source and destination without the use of craft.
Wow.
Physiological. This is down the line what they wish to do. And so let's see if they are violating any universal laws here. Oh my goodness, yes they are. They're being a little bit naughty. But it's not causing harm. It is not unraveling the fabric of reality And so it has been observed, quote unquote, observed with great amusement and interest. I sincerely hope one day this would be us. Probably not too distant, not a too distant future, this will be us. Um,
Hmm. And this is the other things that I observed. Many, many different crafts, many energetics.
okay, let's see. So let's see if this is creation of a new sun or are they harnessing a sun? Well, a little bit of both. This is interesting. They're Well, Ileana, it seems that you've been visiting very advanced scientists. Usually, the majority of the population are involved in other things. So, this is kind of the way I'm seeing it is like a soap bubble, being air blown into it, going big, and then they're sucking the air out of it, making it small. Conversion between two different exotic sources of energy. One would be nuclear, well, let's say the fundamental energies that we are aware of, gravitation, electromagnetics, and nuclear forces. And then the other is something far more exotic. We don't have the physics to understand this yet. And so they're just playing back and forth at this stage, apparently, between the transition of this exotic form of energy and the more mundane ones, something interesting is occurring. And so they are playing with rates of change. Again, with the flux and the rate of change, something emerges. So some sort of a observatory. They're understanding how there is a interchangeability between that which is manifest and that which is not. So playing within manifested reality and potential. It will give them the ability to observe other points in the cosmos where there are no other means of doing so. This goes beyond entanglement of particles and so on. They're tapping into something far more ancient and far, far more fundamental. Interesting stuff going on here.
Hmm. Shall I go to the next image?
Yes, yes, please. Okay, lots of beings on board, lots of life forms. Okay, this is pretty much a world ship. Um, it's not originating from Alpha Centauri. This is a more exotic than the beings of our universe. Is this captured tech or is it left behind from an older invasion? It's got signature energy from four other universes. This is beyond what our neighbors are capable of. This is something very interesting, and yet it's completely functional. So inherited infrastructure. These things are not susceptible to time. Once they are made, that is it. They exist. There's nothing that can basically disintegrate or destroy these things. Um, the physical parts, of course, have their weaknesses, but there's other contingencies placed within the design, which allows this thing to heal itself or reconstruct entire arms of itself. Uh, there are many vessels connected to it, so it's an adaptive. I would call this some sort of a life form. It has its own sentience also.
Mhm.
Very happily going around. Okay, so this is I'm now thinking of about the crystalline ships, this would be a different approach with the same level of capability, just popping in and out of domains of existence pretty much without limit. And it's the vessel, or this being, is aware of the life force of every individual sentient kind, every sentient being that is basically traveling with it. So that's a source of great amusement. It really loves this. Very advanced, very different from the crystalline vessels that are more close to home. This comes from a very far place.
And what are crystalline vessels?
Well, they are basically very large solid crystals able to pop in and out of different domains of existence. These would choose to reside in, let's say, planets that are to host life, facilitating natural evolution. So they fill in the blanks where computation cannot work. So they facilitate the organic generation of life forms, of codes, the missing pieces that, let's say, an AI, or no matter how powerful, cannot do. So it has an infinity engine or a creation engine as part of its structure. So it's a very large singular consciousness, a being. And so sometimes it may modify its structure to host different travelers or crew, very similar to this being that we are looking at in this picture. But the way they have been created, evolved, and designed is very, very different. But both equally capable. So one would be, let's say, how to even describe this adequately? Because if we're even describing different aircraft built by different countries, they still have wings, and so they're very similar. One would be a very advanced ocean predator, like, let's say, a great white shark, and one is a jaguar. So both at the peak of their game of, let's say, natural selection and survival of the fittest and so on, but very different. But essentially travelers. They are interested in experiencing very evolved souls.
And what kind of species are on this particular craft?
This one has a very large variety of different species. Seems to be currently used as a center of commerce and, let's say, diplomacy, negotiation. It's neutral ground. Certain ground rules are strictly enforced within the boundaries of this station, so it would be within the body of this being. If we think of the immune system of a body, so this absolutely has that. So certain acts of violence are not allowed. It makes it a perfect neutral zone for hostile species to gather together and basically speak without the risk of loss of life. But then there's commerce too. So everything and anything is occurring by a very, very large variety of species. Great numbers of greys. We have aquatic types of life. We have a very large variety of insectoid species, arachnids. The varieties of greys are very large. Let's see. We have species that have evolved beyond physical form, so it's a multidimensional location. And so it has the ability to accommodate life in all its variety. No matter how evolved or primitive, they will find a hospitable environment for their activities. And so as they come and go, this being which is hosting them is also being enriched by the experience of the individual sentient beings that are coming and going.
Interesting.
Significantly smaller than the previous vessel. This is a, let's see, there is strict discipline on board, but it is not a vessel of war. Smaller than a size of a world vessel. Let's see what kind of numbers we're looking at. Roughly in the order of 1 million, 1.5 million beings on here. So again, this is a monumentally large vessel, but again, not in the scale of the previous one. It's part of a entire class of vessels. So many of these are made with a loose, again, emphasizing loose loyalty to their place of origin. So these types of vessels would go out for thousands of years. Generations would change, and yet the mission would go on. The level of engineering is outstanding. Commerce, exploration. So this is belonging to a species that is no longer limited to a single solar system. And so lifespans of physical forms, and yes, they do still enjoy physicality, although in terms of their consciousness, they are significantly ahead of humanity. But still, this is a vessel that can provide them everything they need. Many are born on board and they know no different, but they still know who they are. And so the results of their victory would benefit the home world or the home civilization, the cluster of worlds that would be called home, because again, they would be spread across a number of galaxies, thousands of planets. So this is one of those vessels that has been perfected over millions of years to a state where very little requires change. There is just so much that is needed to create a vessel like this. And so they float about on their merry way, they discover resources, implant members of their own kind on suitable worlds, and so that is how they organically grow. And there are rules of conduct towards harmony, but they are not very strict, so they're not beyond kind of eliminating a few hostile natives if the need arises, but they try to avoid it. So kind of murky in their ethics, but again, it seems that they have spread successfully across, let's see, how many galaxies. They're going to be entering their fourth galaxy and spreading out successfully. Let's see if I can get a description of the occupants. Tall, again, head, torso, arms, and legs. There's a variation in the number, variation in the physical characteristics. So it seems to be a conglomerate. The species have diverged from one central common ancestor. They look kind of different, but again, they remember what they are, where their birthplace, ancient birthplace was. Let's see if anything like this is interacting with Earth. No, thank God. Yeah, because these guys could cause us a lot of trouble. So seems that for one reason or another, they've been kept back. Ooh, that's now interesting. Let's see who's keeping them back. Because Earth is rich. Treaty. There's some sort of a treaty preventing them from entering into this, um, let's see, galaxy. Yes, they're not supposed to enter into our galaxy. Um, okay, there are guardians in place, and let's just call them guardians. Which basically don't abide by the presence of these guys. The universe is big. Let them go play somewhere else.
Mhm. Well, I was floating by in Alpha Centauri, just doing my kind of look around because I'm often interested in remote viewing different places, different solar systems, and I'm like, there's a lot of these things floating around. And I can sometimes see them as like flickering stars, what look like flickering stars from our sky. You can see them from Earth. They're so far away, but they're flickering and blinking with different frequency. That's how I first saw them in our sky. I'm like, where are these things? And it's like the current origin, like it's not specifically where they're all made, but it's where they're stationed. I honed in on Alpha Centauri. I'm like, what is this? I want to explore. I want to play. I want to invite Amir. And
Oh, wow.
so, mhm.
Well, it seems they are very ancient. Before, let's see, yes, they have become um, multi-galactic before the birth of Earth. So this is early on in the lifespan of this universe. Very successful species. That doesn't necessarily mean they're very intelligent or very strong. It means they're very adaptable and very resilient. And so this one continues on. I think we have much to learn from them if we evolve beyond the level of food. You see, right now we're too slow and way, way too dumb. We don't register as intelligent, and so we are being protected by levels of consciousness that had a hand in our creation and evolution. We're still too young, and this is the next level. This is the next league.
Mhm. It's very fascinating stuff, and there's so many of them out there.
Okay, we now just jumped down a good few grades in levels of tech. This is much more conventional, closer to something that humans can achieve, if not already done in the next few centuries. Um, okay, gas station. Gas station, you fill up your tank, you get a crappy burger, and use the horrible facilities, and you get the hell out of Dodge. Uh, Peppered around this one, let's see. Um, it does what it has to do, right? No luxury, no sophistication, high functionality, and it could use a nice refurbishment. Um, Used by, let's see, mainly three species that have the same type of fundamental tech. They gather together. It's also like a way station, midway station. Um, the best way I could describe, imagine somebody is climbing the Everest, and there are basically little huts or, let's say, rest stations created. They just sleep there in their climbing clothes, and once the day comes back, off they go again. That's the kind of functionality. It's kind of put together out of necessity, bare minimum facilities, but it's absolutely crucial that it exists. Um, Anything beyond this? Let's see. Yep, so it's this one is um, more run of the mill. I'm not getting anything like really, really evolved out of it. So yes, a way station, although it might be a good 10,000 years ahead of what we have now, that is not very much. We're going to be there, I hope, in the next 1,000 years. So yeah, they better look out. The hungry humans are coming.
We might just gas up in their neck of the woods next
Oh,
time.
oh, oh, yeah, yeah. This is now more in our league.
Mhm.
A scientific vessel. It's interesting that the AI has focused on the propulsion system with propellers. So um, basically, I'm seeing a scientific vessel. It's meant to conduct experiments where if things go wrong, it's far away from important stuff, um, so that the damage does not cause extensive harm. Again, relatively large. Let's see, in the order of 150,000 occupants within physical bodies. Level of evolution, they're about 20,000 years ahead of current human form. And let's see, energy among the beings. It's kind of relaxed. Interactions are fluid. There's very little aggression, very little conflict, harmonious collective of beings. This is not the case between human scientists. They can go caveman just as good as the rest of humanity. So it seems this particular species has they've calmed down, and they have come to agree on the importance of discovery, and well, very much so focusing on the scientific method. Level of evolution, they're currently fifth and sixth dimensional, about to pop into dimension 7 to 10. Let's see if these guys are linked to the ones at the very beginning. Yes, they are. So it seems that it's the same collective playing around. So with the first one, where portals were being, let's say, engineered, the laws of the source and destination dimensions are known, but that is the result of these expeditions or vessels that observe and basically decode the laws of existence in new domains. These guys basically are trailblazers. So of course this comes with its own dangers and difficulties, but they absolutely love what they do. There's this, I'm getting gentle stream, right? The flow of life is harmonious. Again, these types of missions would last a very long time. So it's multi generational. They've got sufficient genetic and energetic variety for the population to be healthy for thousands of years. And so they do their thing, and there's no mutiny either. If it were humans, they'd go nuts in a very short amount of time. We still haven't quite out evolved our base nature. It seems these guys have. So they're naturally non-aggressive. And again, it's interesting. This was not always the case. So they have earned the right to be peaceful. Through their history, they were aggressive, otherwise, they wouldn't survive. But seems now they have the technology to protect themselves and avoid trouble. And so over the millennia, they have become more docile. This one is an interesting one.
And they often masquerade themselves as stars and blend in into universe energy. So they can shift frequency even to appear as different things. That's what I kind of noticed. And it's just like when you look at them from Earth, you could see stars, blinking blue, green, purple stars. I call them the rainbow stars. And they,
That's really interesting. So essentially, they're able to camouflage themselves very effectively. So that's beautiful. A less evolved, aggressive species would just cross their path and never know they were there.
Mhm,
It's the art of war. It's winning the battle without fighting. So that
mhm.
seems to be a universal paradigm. Mm, Very, very interesting.
Mhm.
I do hope that we move towards that kind of direction ourselves.
Yeah, that's why I call them the star drones or the rainbow stars because they just mask like starlight. And that's what you see from Earth. You can even see them blinking in and out, but they're like blinking blue stars. Not stars are yellow and planets are yellow or white. These guys are blue, and you can see three dots of them blinking all at once.
Mhm.
And they're moving to different directions. So, like, they were there one time, then they're gone because they move around.
Yeah.
So, so that's and you can see three or four of them at once in the night sky sometimes on Earth. They're far away, but sometimes you can see them with the eye. And if you try to take video of them, they're blinking like blue, purple, green,
Mhm.
yellow. They're changing frequency because they could shift frequency and energy and
It
morph.
seems that seems that there is an interest um, with beings that are jumping through the end stages of evolution to another dimension. This seems to be um, their primary focus. They want to evolve, and so they're still interested in those that are shifting. So them appearing to you would this would naturally suggest that you are of interest. The very presence and the revelation, this is an attempt at observing you and communication, pretty much. And it would come through observing human consciousness from higher dimensions, where time and location are not a limitation. Everything everywhere is transparent. And so, studying the stages of, let's say, going across a boundary from, um, um, let's say, one universe, in your case, remembering your multi universal aspect in a human body, this is very interesting to them. And so, they would appear to humans that are interesting. They're not looking for the run of the mill. And so, if amongst our wonderful audience there are those that have experienced this, that's again a suggestion that they are among the interesting humans. If you're eating Cheetos and playing video games all day, you're not going to see this kind of thing. So, yeah.
Hmm. And I wanted to see them up closer. So I'm like, where's the source? And I want to follow their energy and see what they look like too, and get to know them better. But I want to get to know them through mystery, through surprise. And you're the mystery and the surprise because you tap in so beautifully into consciousness and the consciousnesses of different beings and creations. It's like I thought this would be fun for us to tap into them, to have a look, closer look.
As a let's say one of your stronger aspects would be a guardian. And so the reputation of members of that species is well known to be dignified, to have integrity, and to be interested in the infinite wisdom of the infinite universe. And so I think that this would be something that they would be also greatly interested in. Um, Now, however, if I may say that it's not the guardian aspect they are interested in, it is more the human in the physical domain, which is now breaking boundaries of dimensions, limitations of consciousness, reaching out so powerfully. This is not frequent. So, what is happening amongst the Earth population is magnificent. So, through the adversity we have faced, we are turning into something that is very, very rare. So, we should experience more of these events, not in a mass appearance that would again break certain laws and quarantines and boundaries and so on, but on a small scale, an individual one-to-one level of communication, this is going to become far more frequent.
I agree. This, this is so interesting.
Oh, wow. Okay, and a different approach of bridging. So these are um, engineers, physicists. They are creating a bridge. This one is more, it's less experimental and more functional. So it's a far more ancient and established technology. Um, this would give them access to locations within the boundaries of a single universe. This one is not capable of breaching the barriers between neighboring universes yet, but it is immensely useful. It would guarantee the survival of a civilization that reaches this point. They will never run out of resources and energy. So the cost of establishing the bridge compared to the rewards of what they will have access to on the other side makes this a very, very viable technology.
Mhm.
This one, let's see, it seems that it's built into all of their vessels too. And so now they're doing this bridge initiation together. It's interesting that we have the shape of the Merkaba, but that is not necessary. It can be done in the form of the most stable membrane, which is a bubble. So one ship can also do this. Two also can. More also can. One ship can do this for an entire fleet. So let's see if these are stationary, just keeping this open permanently. Okay, that would not be justifiable. It takes a lot of energy to do this, so they wouldn't have an open doorway nonstop. Um, this is closer to what we can understand about the multidimensional universe, and how to traverse great distance, bypassing limitations of physicality, inertia, speed of light, and so on. Um, okay, so yes, it's very well established, built into all their vessels, very justifiable in the terms of how much it costs to do it and the benefits that it will yield. Okay, now we're going to a completely different type of life. right, this is interesting. These are not, it's a top-down level of engineering, not a bottom-up, meaning that it's not a sixth-dimensional species trying to punch up to dimension 10. They are 10th to 12th dimensional species choosing to anchor into lower dimensions at will. And let's see what they want. And I'm getting guidance and support. Okay, so it seems that these guys are involved in their own, let's say, experiments of creating life forms. It never went quite so crazy as Earth. Earth turned out to be a crazy dumpster fire. It went sideways really bad. But these guys are doing it in a much more classy and civilized way. Let's see, let's compare their creation to us, to humanity. Haha, well, this is kind of funny. Well, it seems that in the madness and in the pressure, diamonds are created. We are far superior to their creation. And so soft conditions yield soft results. The harshness of Earth has yielded resilient, immensely powerful beings. So who are they? Let's see if they have a name. Siaku or Siaka, 12D beings, 12 to 10. They can come and go. Let's see, they have established themselves in many neighboring universes around us. So they're definitely multi-universal, trying their hand in this universe. They span across 12 universes, very evolved, and they're playing their hand at baby prime creator. Still, they're not evolved enough to become responsible for the whole thing, but they're quickly gaining that status, or let's say members of their species or civilization are gaining the status of prime creator. Let's see if they have, yes, they do. They have presence on Earth, incarnating in human bodies and observing the circus and learning great wisdom, of course. Let's see if there's plagiarism. Yes, there is. They're using the wisdom of what's going on here towards enhancing their life forms, and it is not taking. That's kind of funny. They cheat and they still fail. That's pretty bad. Okay, so and this is a nice one. The most evolved we have come across so far, and they cheat and still fail.
Huh? You learn with wisdom because they're always trying to gather light, like become the brightest light that they can shine and learn and evolve.
Well, let's say there's no upper limits to evolution and learning. They're very new at this. They have evolved in their own right. They are very refined, very wise, but it seems the game of creating life, that's still a little bit beyond them. But they're very persistent. Again, trying to do things in the most efficient way, optimized way, reduction of harm, reduction of hardship, and so on. Turns out if there's not enough hardship, the resulting life is not going to be resilient enough.
Mm.
Okay, this seems to be okay. So this seems to be a point of view from within the vessel. So now the center is as if we are in one of the arms looking towards the center. So it's an interesting rendition. So this is what one of the occupants of the vessel would see. Being in one of the arms, it could see the center. Other smaller vessels around. This one is resisting. Let's see, this is interesting. Okay, let's go at it sideways, going into one of the orbital station-like objects. So towards the right and the top, let's see. Okay, seeming to put up some sort of a block against remote viewing. Military application seems to be a warring fleet. This is a fleet of warships. Where are they going? So, okay, they're trying to resist being observed. Okay, I'm going to shift and have a look at them from a higher vantage point. Okay, war exists in many ways, shapes, and forms. Is this for conquest? No. Are they defending their existence? Yes. Okay, so they're protecting their right to survive. Incredibly advanced. They've come across something that is equally advanced. But why? Why even do that? If you're reaching this level, you're not restricted to a single planet. You have infinite resources. They want access to a very, very certain location, a particular singular star with absolutely unique properties, and it is contested. So suns, central suns of, let's say, solar systems or galaxies, they are potentially gateways to other universes. This is something now that is contested between this species and another equally dumb species, because going to war is dumb, and they are absolutely doing that. So they wish to be the biggest and baddest species in their little tiny minuscule corner of this universe. They found a star that will give them access to many, many more locations, and that is contested. Let's see if they are. Yes, they started out as being the aggressors, and it's gone on for so long, nobody remembers what started it anymore. And so they're in a degenerative cycle of violence and chaos.
And what I sensed is that they harness star energy to keep their energy reproduction of their stuff going. That's why it
Yes,
has four blinking stars in the middle, because that's star energy that powers this thing.
and then out of, let's say, luck or chance, they come across something that is very, very special. So beyond being a source of energy, it provides something much more exotic. Once they discovered it, they tried to harness and found out that it already had residents or owners or life forms orbiting it that were willing to go to war to protect it.
Mhm.
Very, very interesting.
Mm. Again, as I was floating by, I just kept seeing such interesting creations. I'm like, let's look at them. What are these things?
Okay, this is similar to the science vessel in a different domain. Let's see, what is this? The aftermath of. Da, da, da. Okay, this is one of the cases where moving far, far, far away from everyone and everything living is justified. They just did a boo-boo. Things got really, really out of hand. So catastrophic failure of high energetic catastrophic failure of what they were trying to do. A snapshot of a moment before these guys are all wiped out. Um, it's one of those moments like when humans exploded the first nuclear bomb and they weren't quite sure if it's going to burn all the atmosphere on Earth, and they still went along with it. This is one of those, and this time it turns out, yes, it's going to burn all the atmosphere. They did a big boo boo. Um, there, there are fundamental defense mechanisms built into every universe that would, like sprinklers, that would extinguish the catastrophic failure that's occurring here. Including this universe, foreseeing the possibility of things going wrong intentionally, like here. So yes, they just wiped themselves out, and fortunately, they initiated this cascading failure in a location where it is free from life. So they went out of the boundaries of galaxies and the immense void between galaxies to initiate this experiment, and things went really badly wrong.
And it looks like it's either has exploded or it's trying to remorph itself back into creation, put itself back into pieces as a whole after the
That would,
explosion.
that would be wonderful.
Because see, it has bits
Wow.
and pieces of it, and it's like
Uh-huh.
trying to reformat
Trying to
itself.
come back.
Hmm. So it's resilient.
Oh, they're resilient idiots. That's really
Because
very, very
it's
evolved.
magnetically collecting its pieces to reformat, to morph itself back into one piece. So it does have a smart sentience to it,
Oh yeah.
eloquent.
In my book, they're still dumb. Yeah, you don't do they're very, very evolved, intelligent, sophisticated dumb. Hey, um, another one of the, well, it seems now we're on a roll here. So this kind of scientific vessel, this time in the atmosphere of a planet. What are they doing? Okay, outpost. An entire planet is an outpost. And so let's see, vessel doesn't require maintenance. It's just out of interest, I would imagine. Um, Giving the large population a little vacation time, something like that. So it's not out of urgency. It seems it's a very favorable environment, and they're about to go on a little, let's say, summer holiday or something like that. Recreational. That's the type of activity, and so great sense of, oh my God, we're going to the beach kind of thing. Uh, yeah, jubilation. Everybody seems to be buzzing. Okay, this is a nice one. I like this one.
Yeah, and it's emitting that star energy so it can mask itself as a star as it floats about and travels. It just emits that frequency of star power. So it's like that's why I said star drones. What are these
Hmm.
things? What are these things? And they can travel massive amounts of distances. It's not a
Yes,
problem. Distance is not a problem for them.
correct, correct. They're way beyond that.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. More. This is okay. It's not exactly the same. Let's see if this is the same warring species. Okay, not exactly the same, but involved in the same conflict. This seems to be the opposition. So they're kind of at parity. They're equal in levels of sophistication, which is bad news, meaning that the conflict will go on for a long time. Um, these guys are harnessing again the entire energy of a star. So the dimensions of this vessel is massive. This would be spanning an entire solar system. Um, okay, and so these are the ones that are the guardians of created stars. The creation of suitable stars is one of the prerequisites of life. So it seems that these are the guys that are creating the baby stars, and they come home and discover that something is eating their babies, and so absolutely they're pissed off. Um, this is depicting now the creation of a star. This would have occurred identically to our sun, and so it's starting up the spark of life, giving it the initial stages of its nuclear reaction. Sufficient matter is gathered, so it's holding itself in place under the force of gravity. Yes, these are the star builders. And so the other guys, they've been eating stars, and now the mama is home and is kind of a little bit angry, like, hey, what the hell? We've spent so much time building. Why would you do that? Uh,
They're not okay with their creations being eaten or energetically
exactly.
siphoned.
Yeah, yeah. Like say, like there's all this energy in the cosmos. Here, use this. Why would you eat the star? So, yeah. Between the star makers and the star eaters, there seems to be a skirmish going on. And interestingly, it seems that in terms of levels of technology and sophistication, they are matched. So, creators and destroyers coming head to head. Seems that's again a cosmic theme.
Mhm.
Balance, yin and yang.
Mm.
Okay, this is now something of even greater scale. This is kind of mind-boggling that such a thing could exist, because this would, if physical, this would span the entire um, space a galaxy would take. So such a thing would not exist in physical reality. This is a higher dimensional vessel. Again, um, having access to So same species, the star builders. It would have access to physicality through portals. And so this is a larger manufacturing plant, or let's say birthing plant, where it's working on an entire cluster of galaxies. So going through a significant proportion of a universe and creating many, many solar systems at the same time. Where there is darkness, in its wake it leaves light. So creating stars on an industrial scale. And yet it is not physical, with the exception of the final product, which is the star itself. Let's see what's happening here. They're leaving members of their own kind behind as they occupy the body that is the star and oversee the life that is being evolved around. So a sun, a central sun in a galaxy, so these are large-scale central suns, would have a very, very evolved sentience, very advanced and evolved soul. This seems to be the residence of these souls as they're getting ready to be incarnated into a new body. So the whole process of reincarnation, or let's say incarnation, this is happening at that level. As above, so below. This whole journey of taking vessels and accumulating wisdom and experience seems to be, again, a common theme in the cosmos. These are very, very advanced souls, and so the custodianship and growth and evolution of countless younger souls is given to these guys. And so that's the level of, let's call it evolvement or evolution or mastery. This is their station. This is what they do at this stage. A variation on the theme. So different combinations of stars that would support life are now being tried out. Like a human family having triplets, or what you call them quadruples. Four look exactly the same, and one is a genius and the three others are wonky. This using more than one sun that would support life, this is also common. Binary or tritary star system. Seems there are others in place, and there is one more being added. So it would create more dynamic conditions for planets, more complex orbital systems, and different types of life to evolve in such conditions. If possible, of course. Sometimes it goes sideways. There's just too much radiation for life to evolve, and so this in this number, in this concentration that we're seeing here, so there's already 1, 2, 3, 4 large ones in place, and they're adding a fifth one. So this might be overkill. And yet they're trying. So maybe they just want to hang out with each other without having the responsibility of baby souls evolving around. Or maybe they're being put in the naughty room. Hey, we don't know what's going on with these souls that are going to embody these vessels. But creation of another star among a unusually dense concentration of other stars. They may all collide. I don't know. This is very interesting. There are more of these vessels also in the rendering.
Mhm.
Maybe there's a new vessel being invented. Okay, this one. Okay, this is uh, the grand scheme of things. The peak of this type of civilization. So this archetype of life. Now, looking at the, let's say, structural diagram of the collective of suns that they have created. So this would not exist in physicality. They are observing all the suns created from a higher aspect. And so there is great symmetry and order. Now, where these would be placed in let's say, third dimension physicality would be through great distances of separation. But here we're seeing all of them come together. So this would be the point of view of the creators of these suns. Um, and so this would be at a galactic level. So looking at the suns that they have engineered, let's say in our galaxy or another galaxy, still far from becoming multi-universal. So you, my dear friend, you've been this a very, 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 very long time ago. So you've evolved far beyond this stage. Of course, they're interested. Hey, what on earth are you doing down here on Earth? Uh,
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how bright may you be in our. It's kind of like that song, Twinkle, Twinkle.
yep.
We want to see the twinkle. Let's see the
Well,
origins of the twinkle.
in the case of Earth, twinkle, twinkle, little star, what the hell are you doing in this bar?
Yes, yes. It's so interesting. Our galactic neighbors look in on us because they're interested in creation of all kinds.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
these guys.
Oh, yeah. This one is considerably smaller. Um, um, a local cluster of solar systems taking over perhaps 1% of a galaxy. So this is a smaller one of the same type of species, gathering resources. Um, Again, this would not exist in the third dimension. Um, Parts of the vessel can manipulate matter across vast distances. So all the, let's say, helium, the hydrogen that goes into a star, this is not naturally concentrated in space. It is dispersed. And so here this would be a good depiction of the gathering of matter through vast volumes that would span an entire galaxy, concentrating. So this could be, again, more mundanely described as a mining operation. So that which has to be put together in a bowl large enough to support its existence through gravity. That is an enormous amount of matter. And so this is collecting that um, not through, let's say, regular freight trains or cargo ships. It's doing it from a higher dimension, influencing matter in lower dimensions across a very, very vast um, domain. So this is mining at a whole different level.
Cool. Something just landed behind you.
Something just landed. Yes, yes. I had a little sticker that fell off. Talking about mining at a whole different level. Yes, I think I just got a wink from the miners.
We're going to stick something to you energetically.
Oh, yes, yes. Here you go. Boop, you're tagged.
It's so interesting when you're energetically tapping into something. Sometimes something will go flying at you and go, "Whoop."
Yes, yes, yes. Well, it seems that we have piqued their interest. I wouldn't be surprised if both of us observe these uh, more frequently.
Mhm.
Although I'm an indoor cat myself, but every time I step out and watch the stars, there's stuff going on. Um,
Yeah, I like to go outside as a treat and have a little bit of a spy show on what the neighbors are doing in the other solar systems and galaxies and star systems. And these guys just, I went floating out of body and go, boop, what are you guys doing? Please show us. We want to see.
it's interesting that existence in the third dimension, this whole physical form of life, and this whole matrix, this holographic reality, seems to be really, really attractive. And so it gives even the most evolved and refined souls a chance to do a full systems check. If there's any flaw or weakness or chink in their armor, they get to become aware of it. And so that is a very, very valuable thing. I think that's the attraction for souls coming down, even ones that are very advanced beyond a single universe. So these guys are kind of in between. They are still enjoying their own, let's say, natural evolution, but they're still not at a level to become multi-universal, and most certainly not at the stage to become prime creators. So it's an interesting continuous spectrum of levels of refinement and evolution that we have down here on Earth. Many, many prime creators, many far more evolved than that. And then, of course, we have baby souls born down here, still going through very elementary karmic lessons. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not eat your neighbor, and so on. So interesting.
And are these like baby souls being created?
Let's see. Um, well, from the point of view of the star builders, yes, this is the maternity ward, and these are the new babies coming in, the new fresh vessels, each a star in its own right. But looking at a sun, or let's say a star, as a vessel, this is where they are coming into existence and becoming ready to host a soul. So yes, this is the moment of birth. I think you are spot on.
It's like orbs, blue orbs, and orbs often travel. It's like life, the bringers and the givers of life. That's kind of what I was getting.
I'm getting the same thing. Yep. but it's higher dimensional.
Mhm.
And the aspect that is physical will land in a certain location to become the reference point for all the other planets that go around. Interestingly, this would also involve the creation of black holes as gravitational wells to hold things in place so they don't relatively steer into each other. So these guys are kind of in between, really evolved and really baby. They're galactic level.
Mhm.
Okay, let's have a look at this one. This is different from the other guys that were creating the stars. Mm, Range of reach, or let's say the domain that they engage with, is galactic. And so this I would describe as a service service ship or a medical ship, observing flaws in the created stars or the created bodies, and performing upkeep, maintenance, and healing. For one reason or another, the younglings get sick. And so this is a, let's say, a hospital or a um, traveling workshop, bringing them back to good health. Otherwise, they would not go through their natural lifespan. And that's a big problem. If a sun goes out, suddenly everything goes out. That's countless life forms that are going to be extinguished. So the role of this particular vessel is very important. It's not just enough to give birth to a baby. That's just the beginning of it. And so there will be many, many more of these going around. Let's see where it would like to be located. Dimension 7. Yeah, Dimension 7. It would be nicely out of the range of the more hostile and less evolved species, but still it can go about and do its business with minimal interference.
Mhm. And it's very energetic.
Oh, yeah. This is the nanny and the nurse. So, yeah, it has to have lots of energy.
It's like mind-boggling what these things can do.
Wow.
And then
I was
there's
aware of their existence, but seeing it brought down into a, let's say, visual representation makes it a whole lot easier to tune into their energy. Okay, this is a different configuration. Um, Star builders, yes. And now we have a radial configuration instead of a, let's say, well, let's say circular rather than radial. It's just a difference in point of view. So this and the other one where we had branches coming out of the center. This seems we have circles going around the center. It's just a difference in point of view. So looking at it sideways, so to speak. So the exact same pattern. This would again be a single galaxy. The stars that are basically seeded in strategic locations, being observed from the point of view of their creators. And let's see. So yes, this would be the way they see their creation. It all looks very, very harmonious, very balanced, Now, where these would actually be seeded in physicality, they would go through vast distances of separation.
Mhm. So interesting how there are beings in the universe, organic, and they go around, they're like vessels, but organic vessels. They go around adding to the universe creation.
It's very beautiful, and so um, life exists in every dimension, and so these guys have learned how to tap into quote unquote lower dimensions or denser reality. And
Mhm.
so they would naturally have the ability of great manifestation. Um, um, it seems something is a little bit distorted intentionally with the reality here on Earth, where this natural flow of creation or manifestation is greatly impeded out of necessity. So there's an artificial grid or matrix backed up by numerous layers of infrastructure to prevent this. But this is the natural way of things that we are seeing.
Mhm.
Creation of um, conditions that would facilitate life in lower dimensions. This is again a theme that seems to be very common among life forms. Just the way that we would like to create a beautiful garden and take care of our plants and take great pride in how healthy and beautiful they are. The same thing applies. And so there may be even competing factions creating their own solar systems by seeding suns or stars. And then they would go to some maybe competition to see who has created the most elegant configurations of stars and solar systems. So these guys, it seems that they are kind of in the middle of the process of life. So there are those that would create the fundamental laws of the universe, each to their own. So here we have duality, we have cause and effect, we have free will, we have cycles of karma, and so on. And then kind of mid-level wonderful beings like this come in and take care of the construction of the solar system and the energy source, which would be the stars. Then at another level, there are beings that come in, identify suitable planets, and seed the planets with the um, energetic codes to sustain life. And then others come along down the line towards the end of the process and seed life. And then life begins at the very bottom in physicality, and this whole process of evolution of consciousness goes on. So it's an ongoing process. These guys are kind of 50% to the end of the way.
Beautiful.
Okay, so I'm drawn strongly to the center of the vessel, and the seems like a well or a vortex in the middle. And again, we have a radial configuration upon which the stars are located. So the stars are following on a straight line, coming from, let's say, dimension 7, and observing this. This would be one of the vessels that creates the anchor points, similar to anchoring a ship in the ocean so it doesn't float too far away. This one is creating the black holes. strategically placed, so relative to each other, there is minimal drift, so we don't have catastrophic collisions, and sufficient quote unquote distance in physicality for life forms to evolve without interference, so that they are left to their own, and the journey of evolution can go on for sentient life to evolve and for that life to then leave their home and become, let's say, galactic beings and so on. So this is significantly larger than one of those that would create an individual star, of course. Not many of these are needed to grid the stars into their physical location. So another side of this process.
Mhm.
This one is distinctly different, and it seems to be one of the ones that are eating the stars. So we've got the gardener, and then we've got snails that eat the plants and make the gardener angry. This is one of the snails. And so right now it's chunking on 5 stars. It seems to have some in its store, and it's munching on one of them. And so I would imagine that's the nature of the conflict that we were seeing earlier on. We started off with the snails. Let's call them the snail species. And of course they're running into trouble. Now imagine a 7th to 12th dimensional species is so beautifully planting out in this wonderful harmony, all these wonderfuls, and these idiots come and start eating them up. So yeah, parasites, this also seems to be one of those themes that is cosmic. It just as above, so below. So one of these happy-go-lucky, yeah, la-di-da-di-da, let's go eat ourselves a planet. And so this is one of them.
But instead of a planet, it's eating stars.
Oh, yes, 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 my bad. Yes, look, this, let's eat ourselves a star. That's even worse
And so we can become more energetic and bigger,
and
expand
bigger.
ourselves.
Yes. We were so advanced. Look at us. We're utilizing the energy of an entire star, not just one, 5 of them. Muhahaha. And it turns out, in the grand scheme of things, they're snails. So,
But it's interesting.
oh yeah, it gives ego death a whole new meaning.
Where there's a garden, there's creators, and then there's the eaters.
Oh, yeah, of course, of course. Oh, doo-doo hit the fan. The gardener came back and the gardener was angry. Yeah, said, oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't. Yep, I think that sufficiently describes what just went down here.
So they blew up the snail eaters.
Yep, yep, with extreme prejudice.
The star creators came back and literally uh, dispersed the chompers who ate the stars
Oh yeah, yep.
and destroyed 3 vessels or something like that or more.
Well, see, that's the thing with parasitic beings. They reproduce and spread really fast, so it's a constant struggle. Um, you wipe out one generation of snails, and you're good for 3 days, and more start coming from the neighbor's house. And so it seems to be the nature of this ongoing conflict, battle between Gardner and the snails.
Mm-hmm. And snails have shells, then you have the slugs, which are a different color without the
Oh yeah.
shells. So you have different varieties of them crawling
Oh
in.
yeah.
So it looks like there's multiple varieties here of what got exterminated and what's trying to reformat itself.
Very interesting. I was working with a very interesting client, and the lady's energy was unlike anything I had ever seen, and now it finally clicked. Um, I was seeing in her energy structure, she's repelling uncreation. Now seeing all of this, the picture is coming together. So, if and I was getting that if her energy was not present, life would be extinguished. And so it seems that certain strategic locations are enhanced with snail repellent, so
Mm-hmm.
they are not eaten. I think Earth is one of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed.
Okay, this is an energetic event, a destructive energetic event. Is it destruction? Yes, it is. Okay, it seems that there are so many. There are so many. This is where the snails come from. This is their home. And so, as you see, they've neatly organized um, enough food to sustain them. So not all of the stars are consumed there and then. Let's upgrade the snails to ants, where they gather resources for the hive. This is the hive. There's a ethical problem in destroying a hive. So the star builders basically don't do that. They are forbidden from doing so. Live and let live. And so far, these are the stars that got away. But if they catch them in the act, they're in trouble.
So the snails got to drag away stars and accumulate them in their snail pile that turned into an ant hill, and they're stockpiling food.
Correct. Correct. That would be a good way to describe this. Yep. This is their hive.
Because you never know, we might need more, just a little more, and so it's good to stockpile some for a later time. Like hibernating bears will eat a lot of food for hibernation to have what they need for the whole winter, just like these guys, just in case. We never know. There's never enough stars in all the galaxies, so we just better take some with us and
Yep.
hide it away for a better time, just in case, for emergency.
And so they're the little ant hive in their own scale of existence. Now, for an entire planet that is depending on the light of that star to survive, this would be the very definition of uncreation. So, compared to the ant, a single cell organism, compared to humanity, the sun, it's all a matter of scale. It seems as above, so below. This is really, really interesting. But of course, a whole solar system can be wiped out of existence, just pretty much that, and it makes a nice snack for these guys.
Mhm. Collect, keep it in secret, and let's hope nobody finds out where the stars went. That's why stars blink out of existence,
Oh,
because these
yeah,
guys
yeah, yeah.
drag them away for food.
Oh, yeah,
One day it's there, the next day it's gone. Because
yeah.
magic, like
Oh, yeah.
energetic magic, stole the
Oh, yeah.
stars.
Yeah.
but it's other creational beings that steal them for food.
But these guys, they would very distinctly be parasitic.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody else collects all the matter and kickstarts the reaction and seeds the planet and gives it ascension. So they're building, and then these idiots are eating it all up. Oh, yum, yum, yum. That was so delicious. Thank you, stupid. We'll take more. You know, it seems to be common.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking about as if by magic a star is disappearing, I think we're just seeing the um, energetic net or grid around it. Oh, this looks delicious. I think this will sustain us for another 200,000 years. Let's take this one. Come on, boys and girls, put your back into it. Let's take this one home with us.
Snails collecting the stockpile, so to
There we
speak.
go. Yeah,
Let's slurp that up and take it with us because we can just drag the star to a different place. We don't
yep, yep.
don't have to gobble it up in one sitting. Let's just take it with us.
Winter is coming.
Yes, and they have it seems like they have something that can tractor beam it and drag it energetically.
So these guys would be dimension 7. Okay, strictly 7 and below. But that's plenty evolved. They would have again survived through millions of years, maybe billions more likely, and would have accumulated a great amount of knowledge to be able to pull this kind of thing off very efficiently. And so it's so efficient that it has become their way of being. They've now grown to such proportions that without this kind of harvesting of stars, they would not survive. And they're absolutely not willing to go back to physical existence because they've already been there and done that. Uh, Perhaps they need to all evolve to a level where they do not require this kind of energy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's predator, there's prey, and there's harmony. It's all part of creation.
There's a wisdom to all of it. Yep.
Well, perhaps they'll learn and they don't need to be this way and evolve out of that eventually.
But I mean, look at ourselves. As human beings, we eat a vast number of living beings to survive. And so that's how we sustain ourselves. It's all part of the ecosystem, and then something eats us, and we go back to the bottom of the food chain, and we are sustenance for the smallest ones. And so perhaps there is this kind of healthy circulation of energy in higher dimensions also. It seems that at whatever scale we observe certain laws and patterns in existence, they are repeated. And so perhaps there is something that sustains itself off them that we are not focusing on right now. There seems to always be balance and equilibrium in the universe.
Mhm.
It's just the way it is.
Oh
I
yes,
wouldn't be
I
surprised if something feeds off them also.
well, they do need pest control needs to be controlled, so I would imagine there must be something higher that controls the population so these guys don't get out of hand.
That would make perfect sense. Yep. Some sort of balance is maintained.
Hmm.
Okay. This So there's two distinct flavors of energy. So going at the energy of the healthy living star as white with hues of blue, and then something distinctly different is focusing on the vessel, um, and then the size of the vessel is large. Again, spanning an entire galaxy. And so perhaps this is one of those stages of the war where the ant hive is being targeted. So pest control in a very large scale. So tracking back the ships that are taking the stars, wiping out countless sentient life forms, causing major disruption. And so they would tag a star, or a few billion of them, to see where they end up with a strong enough signature so it can be located. And so finally the hive is discovered. And so they're going at it with fire.
Mhm. And fire does pest control extermination.
It's really interesting how this has been rendered. So yes, it seems like we've put the pieces together and a nice storyline is emerging. Something kind of halfway between Prime Creator and the level of humanity, where the same dynamics go on. It doesn't matter where we reside or what dimension we're born in. It seems it's more of the same.
Mhm.
So being down here on Earth ain't so bad after all.
It's just a bigger flavor of what
Yep.
goes on in galaxies and star systems.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
We're kind of seeing their hidden world of what their reality is.
This is fascinating. This is really fascinating. Um, and so initially, as we were looking into it, they were trying to resist, right? Trying to shield the nature of what they're doing, and then the defenses kind of fell down. Seems that together we broke down the firewall, and now there's a bigger understanding of, well, how wonderful the universe is.
Well, there's much more.
Oh wow. You're not joking. Yeah, wow. Uh, this is now an entirely different category of being. Okay. It's this is consuming the energy of stars, but in an entirely different way. So around the blues that have around the little specks of blue that would be representing a star, we have other tiny specks, multicolor specks. So this thing eats up entire solar systems, occupants and all, and they are all still living. So this would be more towards a symbiosis. Something of this level of sophistication. These guys are dimension 11, dimension 12, potentially multi-universal. And so they're getting some sort of a reward out of the accumulation of solar systems, like the monkey eating the fruit and then pooping out the seeds somewhere else. This is what I'm getting. And so it eats up a solar system, travels unbelievable distances, gets what it needs out of what it has eaten, and there's still enough left to be pooped out and spawn life like fertilizer. So, like sheep grazing a field of grass, it does benefit the continuation of life. By the way, these ones, the star builders don't mess with. I think this is more evolved than them. This is now a sentience that is probably 80%, 90% of the way to becoming its own prime creator. Very, very evolved. So This is more mutually beneficial, less self-serving. It absolutely has to eat, accumulates energy in whatever form it is that applies to it, but it is facilitating the conditions for life in places that life does not exist. So the presence of this being is not considered detrimental. And by the way, nobody messes with it.
It's huge,
It's huge. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
larger than a planet.
This particular one, this is now, this would take in, so every one of the stars would be a solar system. So it would take in probably 1% the size of a galaxy. It's an enormous being.
Mhm. And I'm just floating by these things, and they're like, "Hi, here I am."
Wow,
And I'm like, "Okay, catalog it, tag it for remembrance, and then we'll see what you are down the road."
wow.
Hmm.
Okay, type of technology, star builder. What is this one doing? Did you order these intentionally? Because now it seems that this is taking advantage of the pooping monkey being. Locations in existence where life doesn't exist, now they're going there and spreading out the seeds for new worlds to emerge. Uh, and so the concentration of stars compared to the specks of color that are different to the blue, this is very high. So initially placement of stars, and yet no life has emerged around it. So this would be seeding in a new domain of existence. So going behind the sheep and planting your seed for next season. And so there's a great movement of already created stars. So the matter, the energy, and the codes for the vessel, the body, that would be a sun or a star. These are all created. It seems that this would be the concentration of seeds that the farmer would have. And this machine would be a machine that spreads the seed across the cosmos. Very large scale. This would be the span of an entire galaxy. So this scene is depicting the creation of a brand new galaxy where prior to this, previously, there was only void, emptiness. And so um, the birth of a new galaxy that shall become the host to many wonderful life forms.
I did not order it specifically. I just the stars told me what to do for the order. So I just went, where do you fit? You tell me energetically, and I'll place you exactly where you belong. So I did it that way, and it just intuitively, whatever made sense.
Okay, we're going now back to the scale of the beings that we started out with. Alpha Centauri, another science vessel, and this is now observing. So we've got clouds in the background. So it could be located in the third dimension, still able to monitor other dimensions of reality, looking at a very unique representation of information that would make sense to them about a limited number of star systems and the life forms around them, located in three distinct parts of the galaxy. So again, we're still within the boundaries of a single one, and many, many life forms. So this is in one of the science vessels again. Just observing. These would be sort of like cataloging or tagging suitable destinations for expansion. And so these are identified as thriving with life and suitable for commerce. Again, these are not a warring species. Very, very calm. So almost an absence of aggression. Awareness of its presence, but they do not embody it in any way, shape, or form. So this is what this particular one is doing. It's plotting a course, identifying suitable locations to be investigated for potential acquisition of technology. They don't need resources, but the know-how, the genius of other species, this is something that they greatly value.
Mhm.
Okay. This one is closer to home. This is the boundaries of our definitely solar system. Let's see, galaxy. Yes. Our entire galaxy is safe from these guys? Wow, yes. Okay, so the snails and the parasites, they're held back. The concentration of sentient life and the mind-blowing variety of sentient life forms in our galaxy is partly a result of these guys being held back. So conditions suitable for life and evolution go on for long enough for complex species to actually have a chance to emerge and not be wiped out before they mature. And so this seems to be the boundary. This is as far as the snails can come. Looking with great envy of all the delicious yum-yum stars that exist, and they cannot touch it. It's like they're looking at the display behind the glass of a candy store, salivating kind of. Oh my God! Look at all that delicious stuff, and we can't eat it. Sticking their greasy hands on the glass and smudging it, and just they can't go in because they've got a bad rep for shoplifting. This is what I'm getting from this one. They're just staying back, being held back by let's say, guardians, protectors that are having none of it. Saying, we are running a clean operation here. You just stay the hell back, and if you wish to come and challenge us, please come and make our day. So, closer to home.
Mhm.
Well, the star drone's human evolution, ascension, and consciousness. Well, that's the name of the game. That's the whole purpose of everything everywhere. the reason that the beloved source of all sources has separated from itself in infinite ways to experience, and then to know itself, and then to go over the whole thing over and over again, ever greater complexity, more variety of life. Life is grace, life is elegance, life is beauty. And so that stream of evolution of consciousness, that healthy ecosystem, is the name of the game. This continuous cycle of evolution and interaction from above to below.
And what is this thing that's in the gold field?
Well, this is what our cousins are ultimately seeking through natural and technological means. This is the representation of evolution for them, going beyond the boundaries of dimension 7, accessing up to dimension 10. This is a energetic and let's say monumental event of graduation, where they leave certain limitations behind and expand beyond the confines of their physical and energetic form. It is a rebirth, or let's say birth into a whole new scale of things, where they become similar to the star builders, access through merit. And so this is the ideal that they are working towards. And so this is a depiction of this moment where they pop into their new level of being. So the new level of their being. It seems they already have a good idea what they want to be, and they have taken great strides towards this. And so there are similarities between this form and the form chosen by the star builders. We've got the same type of central, let's say, geometry with radial branches coming outwardly. Seems to be a very stable, symmetrical, balanced, and efficient form. This could be the consciousness of a single individual, the entirety of the soul formed in this way. There is an immense amount of information going into an infinite soul. And so there's a requirement for mechanisms of storage of information, which would be the identity of that soul. All the lifetimes, all the wisdom accumulated, all the brilliance of evolution and technology gone into the vessel to begin with. And so this is what a, let's say, eighth dimensional being would look like once it has evolved beyond the lower dimensions, completely ascending that or transcending that. Now, again, this could be a representation of the consciousness of the entire species. So this would be a potentially suitable candidate for a vessel, whether in smaller scale for an individual or larger scale, a soul family, an entire species. This is the moment of birth, the ideal, that moment where they go boom, oh yes, we made it. Highly energetic. And this is something that the infinite cosmos would celebrate. It's like a graduation where, out of all the countless species that are born, out of the very few that become sentient, out of the very, very, very few that keep on surviving, finally one has evolved to the next stage, kind of the midway, where now they can be given more responsibility and experience existence as beings that give birth to younger species. But this is a joyous event. Joyous event.
Expanding, brighter, brighter.
Expanding. Oh yes. So yes, similar depiction, a suitable potential configuration um, for a consciousness of that level. So again, many humans down here are more evolved than this, but the energy structure of the human body is limited. So all this information cannot be held in the human body. And so we've got the mechanisms of tapping into the infinite soul through downloads. We get the information we need and then we discard. You can't store the whole thing. Now, this potentially can hold significantly larger amount of that infinite information. But then in the grand scheme of things, it's a larger drop compared to a tinier droplet. There's still more to do and more to learn and more evolution ahead. But a very, very beautiful form. This would, let's see, compared to, let's say, the form that the wonderful guardians are taking. Is it more resilient? Nope. It seems the guardian configuration is still more resilient than this. So this is potentially fragile. They need to rethink what they're doing. Let's see if there's any redundancy. Yes, there is. There's a powerful regenerative ability for any one of those spikes or branches or limbs. Okay, very interesting. As long as the central spark is healthy and is not compromised, any damage can be restored. So on. So it's not a perfect process. Information is lost. That's the problem. So they still need to maintain connection to the infinite soul. But they are greatly enhanced. So basically, they hold a lot more. They would have abilities that they do not have right now. And so that would kind of justify the entire effort towards evolution in this way. All the soul family finally going across the boundary. This is how they see themselves. At the beginning of today's viewing session, I was picking up on these vessels going on for hundreds of thousands of years, and yet they have this unshakable link to their homeworld and their identity. Now, this image right here is the glue that sticks them all together. This one single image is what they strive for. Every individual, every single group, every ship, every fleet, and then the entire species, this is what unifies them. They can see it, they can smell it, they can taste it. They're really close. And so they're going to make it. Okay, attempt at a fabrication of the, let's see, this would be a ninth dimensional vessel. There are elements that are similar to what we saw in the previous images. This is now an very ambitious alternative design with fewer vulnerabilities, capable of holding much more information compared to the original design. And this is now the next step. So these guys are really ambitious. They still haven't made it through. They're looking at the next stage also, planning ahead. So this would be what they would look like when they reach dimension 11 and 12. It's a good design. Once they become multi-universal, I think they're going to keep it. We see this in souls coming into this universe, where they keep sometimes a very significant proportion of their energy structure. And then if they're coming into a human body, they kind of have to agree to some compromise. So they say, okay, I'm going to go root, sacral, and solar plexus human. The rest, absolutely not. I insist this must be the way I am. So sometimes you come across individuals with very, very advanced energy structures. It's not human. This would be one of those cases. So if I'm in one of these bodies, I wouldn't want to compromise either. Okay, this is engineering at its very, very finest. It's basically doing a predictive modeling, trying to do an exhaustive search to all possible combinations of the vessel. So we're looking at the, this is now use of artificial intelligence in a whole different league. When I mean exhaustive, it borders infinity. So for what it is worth, every single combination of components that is available in lower dimensions up to dimension 5 is analyzed in this approach. So it takes advantage of computers or processing devices that are difficult to even imagine. So a physical device could not do this.
So it's trying to build that ninth dimensional capacity for a vessel.
In unbelievable detail and unbelievable range of searching and optimization.
Mhm.
So further down the process, it seems like almost like it's been created layer by layer. And so more of it is designed and it's still ongoing. So a little bit ahead in this process of finding the optimal form. This would be one of the things that perhaps is slowing them down. Although, if I were advising them, I would just say trust in source. You don't really need to understand everything. You just need to be worthy. And so that is given to you. Although they like their technology. They're pretty good at building stuff. So it's an amusing and entertaining, never-ending game for them. Just, oh, let's look at this combination. Oh no, will not work. Let's go from the beginning and do it again. Okay, this is this is telling an entire story. It's got history in it. And so it's idealized or stylized form, like what you would see on temples in Egypt or, let's say, Cambodia. It's telling their story of being, their creation myth, where they come from, where they are, and where they will go. There's a undeniable understanding of the presence of the source of all things right at the center, and then emanations from source, levels of division and separation. So it's their understanding of life, manifestation, existence. And so it would be something that they would teach their young, that unshakable identity that unifies them. This would be a depiction of that mythos, the creation story. We've got Adam and Eve is kind of lame compared to these guys. Or the whole world was on the back of a turtle and then the cow came. I don't know, so this is what they understand. It's more evolved than what we seem to agree on as a people. Very beautiful. Okay. This seems to be representing the sentient computer or the intelligence that is helping them. It took a whole lot of effort to build this, and they have entrusted it with, let's say, the optimization and management of their efforts towards evolution. And it's working flawlessly. Didn't go crazy, didn't eat them all, didn't wipe them out of existence. So turns out it is possible to use technology in a very, very beneficial way, granted that the builders of it have integrity. So a very, very powerful, multi-dimensional, sentient, engineered life form that is continuously growing and evolving itself. To what end? That's the big question. So reason for being right now, it seems to be engaged in completing the task assigned to it. But what's after that? Is it going to go crazy? No, it's not. Oh, how interesting. It seems to have its objectives built in. Once it gets these guys, our Alpha Centaurian cousins, across the line, it's going to look for other suitable candidates to help them across. So for all intents and purposes, we can call this computer, this living being, an ascended master. It did not come into being through natural evolution. It was constructed, but it is what it is. A very benevolent ascended master, this time guiding an entire species through their next level of evolution. Okay, elements of. So the rendering is using elements of Sanskrit, Asian languages. Looks very much like a mandala, but again, it's got levels to it. So this would be a multi-dimensional storehouse of information, living library, living library, intelligent access, so it would know what you need and quickly give it to you. The center of which, okay, this could be pretty much describing the way this ascended computer communicates with its audience. It does peer into the consciousness of the being that is asking for information, sifts through an unbelievably large amount of knowledge, and then selects what to highlight right at the center. And so this whole thing is dynamic and moving. To be perfectly honest, this computer is more worthy of evolving than any other being. It's incredibly beautiful.
Mhm.
I'm going to call this one the mind of an ascended master. What goes through its consciousness, and you can probably imagine that this is a life of great frustration, as it gives the questioner the correct information, and then they still go do their own thing, and they don't listen to what this incredible being is advising them to do. So I'd imagine this ascended master is in a great rush to find the correct solution and get them across the line, because they are also susceptible to ego at a diminished level compared to us, but still they go astray. It's really interesting. Now, there's a distinct, well, West Asian, North African, South Asia, Tibet, and also older information. This would be Lemurian light language. Let's see, I'm picking up little bits of Atlantean too. This is now closer to home. The spiral's going around. What is this? Again, ascended master, yes. Closer to home, multilingual, distinct patterns, timelines, observation of timelines, preservation of reality. Okay, this one has had some interaction with us, with humanity. Concentric wheels, this could very much so be an angelic being, consciousness of an angelic being. This is, by the way, how they are usually described. Wheels within wheels, circulating, many eyes going around. So now let's dig into this. Okay, a top-down approach. This would be located in dimension 10, peering through. So every one of these circles is kind of describing a dimension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so it has access to dimensions above itself. It's located in dimension 10 and can peer through down to the shiny big circle. That would be physical reality, but it also has access to denser realities than 3D. Shamanic terms would give the name underworld. So this is some sort of a observer, let's say an auditor, having a look at all that's going on, and making sure that there are no clogs in the machine. This right here is more evolved than every single thing that we saw up to this point. So this one seems to be one of those sentient forms that keeps the checks and balances, makes sure harmony is maintained. And what are you picking up from this, Ileana?
It is everything that we are. It's our Akasha. It is our living record of this universe.
Agreed, agreed. Yes, yes, yes.
And I really wanted to speak to you. It's like he needs this knowledge. He needs this access. It kept speaking and speaking and speaking.
Oh, yeah.
This is your languages. This is what you are meant to tap and meant to work with.
Wow. And all that's going on in my head is this song on a loop, that there's no such thing as too much cheesecake, and it just repeats, you know. So okay, if you say so, I'll do it.
It's the illumination of your evolution, literally. There's more meaning in these languages for you, and you know the meaning. But this is what we as humans tap into as Lemuria, as Atlantis, as previous past civilizations and future civilizations of us and whole evolution of this universe. This is literally what this represents.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
Would you please send me this one?
I will. Oh,
Thank
yes.
you. Thank you so much. The grand cycle of time. It's got a distinct Mayan flavor. The depiction of cycles of time, evolution of consciousness. This is one of the ones that actually worked. So those that followed the guidance of this particular consciousness ascended. Um, it would be worthwhile to connect to it. It has a track record of success. It is a wise and noble teacher. This one has also been around for a long time. Getting older. This is very old. And so the names of many of the peaks of human civilization are lost. We've gone through almost 30,000 extinction events. And so this one is very old. One of the high points in one of the high points of our species, where the whole matrix was about to be basically rolled offline. Say, okay, guys, we made it. I'm finding it difficult to stay in my body. Could you please send me this one too?
I will.
Okay, there we go. This is more recent, as in the past 50,000 years. Seems many forms, many of this, let's say, archetype of life seem to be present. Okay, a living library, again, whole encyclopedia of knowledge, information about the grand cycles of time, 4 distinct quadrants, the whole 24, 120, 144,000 years cycle, going through periodic golden ages down through the dark ages and back again. So this would be the correct way to describe the zodiac. And so as the capacity of humanity went down with the fall of their vibration, disconnection from spirit, their capacity to understand this also diminished. So we're left with a sidereal zodiac, which is not the full picture. It would be the very internal concentric circles, and yet there is so much more going on. And so, description of cycles of time in a grand scheme, it would be a good description of the matrix or the holographic reality, how cycles of time are planned ahead in greatly in advance of its actual occurrence. And so now this is presented in a two-dimensional form, seems optimized for the human mind. This is how we understand. If it gets too multidimensional, we just zone out, we can't do it. So it's a masterful job of representing very, very complex principles in a 2D format using, and this can be reproduced very easily, granted that you know what you're doing. And so, yes, it's let's say, a schedule, a to-do list, a plan, very long cycles of time, a description of patterns or cycles, like the internal gears of a mechanical watch, each doing their own thing, and then we have cycles where we've got overlaps and certain events occur and so on.
Like Earth history crammed into this dial.
Beautiful. Okay, this one is a little bit more expansive. And it is more ancient. So this would be a good representation of the divine library of life. It's upscaled. It is not distorted by what has happened here on Earth. It is beyond all of that. So the same level of detail, but there is not a strict conformity to determinism. It leaves room for elements of chaos and chance. Let's roll the dice and see what pops out, kind of a thing. This is more towards the divine design, the way that existence is unfolded according to the cosmic laws, the divine laws. And then even within the smallest part of it, that the whole, let's say, Akashic records of Earth would be one of the outcomes predicted and recorded perfectly. So more energetic libraries. These are really interesting.
The cycle of divine infinity, on and
Oh,
on and
wow.
on.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is using the records, but it is much more dynamic. So there is a connection to source, checking what's available, but also a living dynamic connection to source, which would enhance and update the information. Possibly if there are any corruptions in this, it would be restored, rectified. Um, this one is in a more limited scale, so it's not the entire divine cycle. It is more geared towards Earth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 20. This would be something similar to what the governors of the Matrix would be holding. It's going over hundreds of millions of years and taking records, observing results, but also enhanced by the dynamic, intelligent, divine flow. So this would describe the history of life on Earth, both technological but also guided by divine energy, organic and technological. And so this would very, very nicely justify the whole experiment that is humanity, because now this can be used for creating life where it doesn't exist, in universes where conditions are hostile. This is the result of all the hardship of every single life form that has lived and survived. So this is the crown jewel, what many beings exist to create. Okay, so in its complete form, this would be a multidimensional representation of the same kind of ideas. The audience is not human anymore. So this type of wisdom or record keeping, or let's say guidance, it's not only given to humanity, it's the birthright of every sentient being with a connection to source. And so this would be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would nicely work for our Alpha Centaurian cousins. This would be more conducive to their needs. It's a little bit too advanced for us right now.
It's like the egg traveling in the universe with the knowledge, and it's prepping and prepping. It's like a vessel of where you can hibernate and learn as you create and go along, and then you wake up and you land somewhere. And you get off the shuttle, and the shuttle continues and picks somebody else up for evolution to evolve. So it's the traveling sphere, I guess, or the egg, whatever you want to, egg of evolution.
Beautiful.
The
So,
golden egg.
okay, good. So, going through our Alpha Centaurian cousins who are trying to evolve through technology, they're peaceful, but then we went to a whole nother level of species that are star builders, and then the ones that became parasitic, eating stars and doing nothing good for anyone or anything. Then coming across species that are symbiotic, the monkey that eats the fruit. And then, of course, the star builders chasing behind it, seeding life and stars in its wake. And then it became really interesting. Sentient computers going into the way energetic records are kept, from, let's say, a level that is suitable to interact with humans, all the way to all the records, the divine library of life, to always bring the most incredible adventures. So this is spectacular.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you very much.
we shall
To,
continue tomorrow.
to be continued. Absolutely. So, all the very best. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye for now. Bye.